Welcome back to Westeros. Same continents, multiple claimants, zero chill. A red comet streaks across the sky. Cue medieval astrologers calling it the Sword of the Morning. Basically, the universe's less subtle way of saying, bad shit's coming. Back in King's Landing, the Lannister circus continues, only now Joffrey's officially King of Chaos. Enter Tyrion Lannister, summoned by Dad to play interim Hand of the King, because who better to babysit a teen monster than a dwarf with zero patience? He shows up, slams Politics 101, tax, spy, bribe, repeat. He even beefs up the City Watch before riots break out amid food shortages. Meanwhile, in Dragonstone, Stannis Baratheon crashes the party, claiming Robert's throne, because family drama isn't dramatic enough. He's flanked by spooky Red Priestess Melisandre and her magic flame goddess. Her buddy Crescent tries to poison her in a backstabbing masquerade. Literally. Crescent goes glam poison to wine and dies. She doesn't. Dark magic level. Thanks, but no thanks. In the north, Robb Stark, now self-crowned king in the north, is trying diplomacy with the Greyjoys. Instead of alliance, his childhood buddy Theon Greyjoy shows up in full betray, best friend mode in Saxe Winterfell. Bran's left scrambling with Jojen Mira Reed as emotional support plus skin-changing lessons. Arya's plotline, she's disguised as a boy, fleeing King's Landing with Yoren. On the road, they're ambushed. Yoren dies heroically, but Arya saves hot-blooded criminals who include Jake and Hagar, coin-wielding assassin who promises to murder 3 people for her. Blessing and curse combo. End of part 1. Kings are multiplying faster than direwolf pups, magic's getting creepy, and everyone's freaking out. Buckle up. This war's about to get messy. The War of 5 Kings? Oh, it's heating up faster than a wildfire barrel in Blackwater Bay. We check in with Stannis, who's still radiating aggrieved middle manager energy. His new marketing plan: burn statues of the 7, ditch old gods, and fully commit to Fire Jesus, aka R'hllor. His inner circle? Davos Seaworth, ex-smuggler turned reluctant therapist. And Melisandre? Still creepy, still on fire, literally and spiritually. Tyrion continues slapping sense into King's Landing, trying to keep Joffrey's murder-happy impulses from triggering a full revolution. He sends out fake letters to sniff out traitors and starts planning Operation Don't Let the City Explode. Spoiler, that's harder than it sounds. At sea, Balon Greyjoy shows up in full I'm relevant now mode, declaring himself King of the Iron Islands, because nothing says Dad of the Year like using your son Theon as a political prop before sending him to betray his foster family. Theon's reaction? Burn bridges. Literally. He takes Winterfell like a budget villain, then fakes the deaths of Bran and Rickon. Bold move. Terrible execution. Shocking no one. In the north, Jon Snow is beyond the wall, doing reconnaissance with Qhorin Halfhand. There he meets Ygritte, wildling, redhead, sword-wielding flirt, and the future source of 70% of Jon's emotional confusion. He lets her live. Mistake? Maybe. Foreshadowing? Definitely. Across the sea, Daenerys is lost in Korth, a city that looks rich but is spiritually rotten. She's trying to get ships, armies, and a clue. Instead, she gets shady merchants, creepy warlocks, and lots of cryptic riddles from masked weirdo Quaithe. Dragons? Growing, trust levels shrinking. End of part 2. The war's a 5-way mess, Theon's doing war crimes, and magic seeping into everything like a bad smell. Still think you want the Iron Throne? Westeros, where trust gets you killed, loyalty gets you betrayed, and having a last name guarantees you trauma. Let's dive in. In King's Landing, Tyrion is still trying to plug political leaks with sarcasm, wildfire, and sheer willpower. He builds alliances with people he barely trusts, aka everyone. Cersei, meanwhile, is busy hoarding wildfire like it's medieval napalm and threatening to kill random people if things go south. Great family dynamic. Joffrey is Joffrey, still executing street performers and torturing peasants for fun. At this point, even the Lannisters are tired of him. Sansa gets caught in the riot that breaks out when the starving crowd decides they've had enough of Crown-sponsored cruelty. Tyrion slaps Joffrey. Again. And it's still not enough. Over in the north, Theon is learning that conquering a castle is easier than holding one. The people of Winterfell hate him, his men don't respect him, and Bran's escape plan, with the Reeds and Hodor, is more successful than it has any right to be. So Theon fakes their deaths, kills some farmers' kids instead, and pretends everything's fine. It's not. Spoiler. It never is with Theon. Beyond the wall, Jon's infiltrating the wildlings, but they're starting to figure out he's not exactly on team down with the wall. Ygritte is still alive and now gently mocking him into an identity crisis. Expect that to escalate. Meanwhile, in Korth, Daenerys tours the House of the Undying, which is basically a fever dream hosted by haunted mannequins. Visions, whispers, creepy blue-lipped warlocks, and then dragons burn the place down. Girl boss moment unlocked. End of part 3. Tyrion's building firebombs, Theon's unraveling, Jon's falling for the enemy, and Dany just torched a magical haunted house. Oh, and the Fleet of Death? On its way to King's Landing. Stay tuned. Explosive drama literally incoming. Welcome to King's Landing, where the rich are panicking, the poor are rioting, and Stannis Baratheon's fleet is about to give everyone a very bad day. Tyrion's working overtime as Hand of the King, engineering wildfire traps, plotting defense strategies, and trying to keep Joffrey from ruining literally everything. Cersei, meanwhile, is day drinking with poison in her purse, emotionally traumatizing Sansa and prepping to kill her own kids if things go sideways. Parenting Westeros edition. Then it happens, the Battle of Blackwater. Stannis rolls up with a massive fleet and the kind of energy that says, I skipped diplomacy and went straight to murder. His men charge the shores, siege towers rise, and everything's looking pretty grim. Until Tyrion launches wildfire across the bay. Boom, green inferno, instant barbecue, half of Stannis' fleet becomes fish food. And while Joffrey conveniently needs to check on his mom mid-battle, Tyrion leads the counterattack like a short king with nothing to lose. He gives a rousing speech, fights in the front lines, and nearly gets killed by a member of his own team. Thanks, Sir Mandan. HR will hear about this. Just as things go from bad to we're doomed, Tywin Lannister shows up dramatically with the Tyrell army like a surprise DLC expansion pack. They smash Stannis' forces and save the city. Everyone cheers, except Tyrion. He wakes up in a bed, half his face sliced open, demoted and totally unthanked. Truly, no good deed goes unpunished. End of part 4. Tyrion saved the kingdom, got a scar and a demotion. Cersei's still scheming, Joffrey's still awful, and the war? Far from over. But hey, at least the river's still full of charred boats and body parts. So, the Battle of Blackwater is over and everyone's acting like it's time for cake. Spoiler, it is not. The war is just getting pettier. Joffrey rewards the Tyrells for saving his crown by immediately dumping Sansa and getting engaged to Margaery Tyrell, who smiles like a Disney princess but plays politics like a Lannister intern. Sansa pretends she's happy to be free, until Littlefinger reminds her she's still a political hostage in a kingdom where people casually poison wedding guests. Brienne of Tarth enters the scene like a 6'3" armor-clad legend. Renly's dead, stabbed by a literal shadow demon earlier, did we mention that? And now she's sworn to protect Catelyn Stark, who's navigating political disaster while her son Robb breaks betrothal deals like they're old furniture. Speaking of Robb, he's still winning battles but making terrible romantic decisions. He marries Jane Westerling for love, not politics. Cute. Also, dumb. That's going to go great with the phrase later. Foreshadowing intensifies. Theon? Oh, Theon, remember when he thought he'd be respected for conquering Winterfell? Now he's surrounded, betrayed, and dragged off by someone even creepier than him. Exit. Theon. Dignity not included. Arya uses her assassin voucher from Jake and Hagar to escape Harrenhal. He offers to teach her face-changing murder magic. She says, maybe later. Girl, take the deal. Bran and Rickon are hiding in the crypts like emotionally damaged Pokemon. Everyone thinks they're dead. They're not. Good for the plot, bad for their therapy bills. And Daenerys, still stuck in Korth, dodging assassins and creepy suitors, trying to find one person who doesn't want to marry, steal, or worship her. No luck. But hey, she's got dragons, and dragons are patient. Final takeaway? Everyone wants the throne. No one's stable enough to have it. And winter? Still freaking coming. So, what have we learned from a clash of kings? First of all, everyone thinks they're a king. Joffrey, Stannis, Renly, Robb, Balon Greyjoy. Even Theon had 5 seconds of delusional confidence. Westeros is less a kingdom and more an overcrowded group project with swords. We've learned that being smart doesn't keep you safe. Tyrion saved King's Landing, outwitted everyone, and got facial trauma and a demotion. Thanks for playing. We've learned that trusting Theon Greyjoy is like giving a raccoon a lighter and asking him to guard your house. He fumbled the bag, the castle, and his moral compass impressively fast. Also, don't fall in love during war. Robb Stark did and forgot he had a political engagement. Big mistake. Huge. Ask the phrase in Book 3 how that turns out. Meanwhile, Daenerys is wandering through Korth surrounded by creepy warlocks, untrustworthy merchants, and dramatic masks. Honestly, her entire storyline is just, give me ships, or I burn your weird tower down. Fair. Arya's on her murder girl arc, Sansa's playing polite hostage like a pro, Jon Snow is undercover with the wildlings and already catching feelings, and Bran's turning into a magical wolf boy in a cave. Not suspicious at all. And then there's Stannis. He tried to win with shadow babies and fire religion, got absolutely roasted at Blackwater, and is now brooding somewhere with Melisandre whispering weird things into flames. Meanwhile, the actual problem? Still north of the wall? You know, the undead ice army no one is dealing with because everyone's too busy arguing over chairs. So, yeah, kings are rising, cities are burning, people are dying. And the dragons? Still growing, still hungry, still not here to play. Because in this game, you don't win. You just survive long enough to get betrayed. If you enjoyed this animated spiral of betrayal, wildfire, and questionable leadership, like the video, comment which king you'd betray first, and click the notification bell so you don't miss the next round of trauma, swords, and dragon parenting. This was A Clash of Kings, Book 3. Oh, you're not ready. Nobody is.